Okay, we are live. So apologies there, ladies and gentlemen. I did plan to have a stream here covering Small Wars Mohicans, but unfortunately there does seem to be some sort of issue. But do go ahead and check out Small Wars Mohicans on Kickstarter. There's about 7 days left, so I would recommend it. I will post a link in the video afterwards and in the chat here as well. So if you do have the opportunity, do go ahead and check it out. But I will be taking a look at another early access series. This is due out in the near future, but I believe I am allowed to do this. This is SGS Battle for Hui. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. There could be no Hui. I could do it wrong, but who knows? I think that's how you pronounce it, but I don't know. We'll try. So anyhow, we do have the game obviously in motion of being worked upon. So things are still subject to change here, so bear that in mind. We have just recently completed the tutorials, but I thought I'll go ahead and show the game off here then. I had intended to show Small Wars Mohicans, but we can go ahead and play a little bit here then of the Battle for Hui. So we'll have the communist versus the free world here. So the terrible Battle of Hui in the old and the new cities are in the west from January 31st to February 28th, 1968. So this scenario covers the whole Battle of Hui over the period of around a month, both in two cities, the old and the new, and further west where the confrontations are more schematized? I feel like I've never said that word like that before. Using off-map boxes, allowing us to translate the fight in connection with the battle for the city in order to block the arrival of reinforcements and supplies from the communist forces attempted to seize the former imperial capital. Honestly, some of you may know that I did my undergraduate history specialism in modern Chinese history, so I do have a pretty big fascination for, like, as you could say, the communists. I have got a big old plan in the future to purchase a number of materials and just simply like read about different communist parties, socialism, etc. in Korea, Vietnam, and the like. Also, Indonesia would be really interesting to read, just for the whole fact that I don't know that much about Indonesian history. But yeah, that's the thing. Oh, also India would be covered in that, and the USSR, of course. So yeah, we could go ahead and get started. Apologies there. That's just my little tirade there. I do like the art of the game. It's very cool. Okay. So we do have a typical SGS UI and mechanics here. But again, do bear in mind, I am playing an early access version of the game here. This is not yet a finished product, so things could go potentially wrong. But the game does have a pretty badass soundtrack. It means I'm going to get absolutely copyright flanked here. But it's a great, honestly, great soundtrack. I asked the developer about it, by the way. He just says that he finds these like tracks from like obscure bands. I'm like, these are pretty light fingers. Alright. So playing as a free world here is a pretty interesting challenge. The communists do begin with quite a few forces. And the Battle of Hui does introduce a number of new mechanics to the SGS series as well, actually, to better represent the smaller scale of the Battle of Hui, actually. So we'll go over those as they come up. We'll have maybe about half an hour or so here. I am fasting in solidarity with my wife, Ramadan, so I'm super hungry. So I'm looking forward to eating when that opportunity arises. So today we're going to be eating nothing but victory, at least for now. But yeah, take a look at this then. So you can see that it's quite cool. It's quite nice to have a bit of a granular sort of scale to the conflict here. And because the Battle for Hui, I mean, there's representation out there, but SGS is a series that does cover these kind of historical settings and contexts relatively well. And I find that they're quite approachable. Okay. This, by the way, is something that only happens about 5% of the time, give or take. I believe that is what I've seen regarding the AI rules. But essentially, this is where the communists do decide to go ahead and attack one of the off-map bases off the bat. We're going to get smacked around here. We do have a couple of Republic of Vietnam, Vietnamese forces, and some US installations there. But yeah, they're going to get smacked around like nobody's business. And again, I can hear that march sound a little bit too loud, so I think that's one of the little bugs there. So again, this is early access. Do bear that in mind. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at this then. So we have Battle for Grid 64222. I have often vacation there. So taking advantage of the favourable terrain, certain defending units take the advancing enemy by surprise. So at this moment in time, we do have Regional Force Company here. So this is the Army of the Republic of Vietnam. So we do have these fellows here in place. So you can see that right now they do have some pretty good. I feel like the comments are about to get. Well, this is Viet Cong, I think. Yeah. these Viet Cong are in for a bad time. Not only have they got -5 for the terrain attack, -2 for the entrench bonus, so their stats are pretty nasty right now. This is actually a really rather strong unit. So you can see here that we do have some benefits. The force heavy weapons over here from the platoon, terrain defense, and terrain giving us additional morale. So yeah, these guys are going to smack them around. I might alter the sound settings here. Music is pretty banging, but hey, we'll take a look. So this is something that has been introduced in the Battle for Wei, and I quite like it. So for example, if you take a look over here then, we have our units over here, and note that they're equipped with rifles, but they don't have the heavy equipment. So this is where you have like 4 specializations. So you have units like this. So this is a regional force heavy weapons platoon. So this is the attachment to the platoon here that has the heavy weapons. So these guys themselves don't really have too much away of strength. So there's not that many heavy weapons in a platoon or company, etc. But they do have a great force multiplier aspect. And of course they can defend themselves. They do have heavy weapons, but they don't have the strength. So that's where you combine them, and then they work well together. Okay. So they do have some stats here. So they have sniper fire. Okay, so these are snipers. Now, snipers here, as can be seen, so use harassing fire to attack or defend. They won't decimate entire units, but they don't suffer from terrain malice and are accurate. Yeah, so they've been able to recover some of their ability here. They are doing some damage. They also do have a 122mm rocket salvo. That is supporting them. But we still win. But you can see here, this is how that plays out. We also do have some police over here. There is a description for them, don't worry about it. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about with the 5% AI thing. This doesn't always happen, but 5% of the time, it always happens. Yeah, so this is where we're absolutely going to be overwhelmed over here at Tam Tai. It's just not going to go well. It's just not going to go well, my dudes. So say goodbye to this armor. It was nice while we had it, but yeah, they're pretty much doomed. But this is the interesting thing, is how to recover from this. There's a lot of communist forces there. My lord, there's a lot. But yeah, our forces over here are pretty doomed. I don't even think we'll have the opportunity to retreat here, so it's not going to go great. Yeah. Okay. We may hold on due to the buildings here, but we'll see. It's not likely. Sometimes if they can't completely deal with the buildings, it's technically declared as a victory for the defending side, but we'll see here. They do have a lot of units. There's a number of mechanics I should regard. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So, the base does hold on barely by the skin of its teeth here. The AI is actually a little bit more aggressive than I've known it actually from test plays. So you can see that we do have some other forces here. Loving the M16s over here, they look absolutely fabulous. So you can see here, boost allied units, train defense, and morale boost. That is coming from over this guy here, perhaps. From this one, and you're boosting that one, and that was boosting that one. Okay, cool. So, reconnaissance here. We're gonna try to retrieve if we can. It's not likely that we'll be able to do so, but we'll see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, pursue. This unit's doomed. Okay, they've been wiped out there. And we do have a bunker over here. And that's gone pretty quick. Notice that they had the anti-tank there. Okay. So, we do have a siege. They fell, thankfully. Alright. The Battle for Wei. She is a harsh mistress. And the communists do have the numbers here, especially at the beginning. They will have the numbers. So what we're going to have to do then is make use of police forces. We're going to have to make use of quite a few unconventional forces, but hey, we'll make it work. So, in defense, the 1st Battalion Air Mobile, 7th Cavalry of the 1st Cavalry Division Air Mobile, is assigned to Camp Evans defense duties and will not be available until around about February 17th. It is blocked until then, and it cannot be unlocked even by playing cards, which is known. So terrible weather for most of the battle. The weather over Wei was very bad. Fog, very low cloud, rain, in addition to very strict rules of engagement. Aerial missions were therefore rare. A few did take place, such as radar-assisted bombing raids or raids by South Vietnamese aircraft who were less bothered by the said rules of engagement. But most often than not, the Air Force was unable to intervene. Not to mention the fact that forces on both sides are often very close together, complicating air and artillery support throughout the game. the Air Force is frequently unavailable and stuck on the ground. Some rules of engagement. A former imperial capital with architectural treasures, political and cultural symbol, a city overpopulated by the influx of war refugees over the years. Hue is a city where the use of heavy means of destruction, artillery, aviation, is problematic in the eyes of public opinion, South-Vietnamese as well as American and international. For several days at the start of the battle, with the exception of a South Vietnamese Air Force, which didn't mind the restrictions and took action with Sky Raiders, the use of artillery and aircraft was banned over the old and new towns of Hue. The restrictions have a very slim chance of being lifted from turn 1, and a greater chance from turn 4, February 3rd, the historic date, but once lifted, they implied the possibility of the communist player receiving a small but real chance of a friendly fire counter from time to time, and the greater, still random possibility of victory points reflecting the appalled look of public opinion at the destruction. Okay, I will let you guys read this, as I'm not used to streaming all the time, so honestly, I just can't talk as long as I used to. I'm getting old, man, I'm getting old. So let's take a look then. We're going to move through then into the phase here. Okay, so the Battle of Hue here then. How you doing there, Carl? Yeah, so we do receive a number of orders as our card. We've actually been dealt a really terrible deck here. You can have a card that can be essentially 1 order, 2, 3, or even up to 4, which is extremely rare. We've been dealt just nothing but 1s, which is really awful, because that really limits how much you can activate. So if we take a look at what we have available to us then, and the Battle for Hue here then. So you know that we do have Vietnamese forces over here, so these are elements of the Black Panther Company, a rapid reaction unit to the 1st Division. Excellent, well trained, highly motivated, considered a lead unit. These guys are fantastic. We don't have all of those. They're both based over here by the high schools. We do have a couple of those dug in around that area. We do have a number of these police units, which are going to be quite interesting. They will come in handy because we frankly have very little. We do have some US advisors over here, so American elements of the MCAV, MACV advisory team. As you can see, we have a number of those. We also do have an Australian contingent over here of military advisors. So we do have US and Australians over here, as well as predominantly US and some Vietnamese police over here. We do have some sailors over this way, so US Navy sailors. Barbed wire, small bunkers and the bridges over here. So a number of mechanics that have been introduced are, for example, like right now we have the LCU ramps. While we actually maintain the LCUs in position, we are able to actually just move across via the LCU. So we can essentially move across like a ferry. Also bring supply in and just essentially, yes, engage the enemy in a way as the communists move in. We have to maintain that. Now, something that the enemy can do is, and this is something that they will be looking towards doing, the communists can go ahead and, let's say, take control of this position here. They can have units deployed via reinforcements that can engage the LCUs and other riverine craft, which is something that we want to prevent because we want to make sure this is kept open. There is another mechanic as well, and the fact that the bridges here are able to be destroyed. So what can happen during the game is the communists do have a certain special force that is capable of destroying these bridges. We also do have our own force that is capable of defending the bridges beyond normal forces. So do bear in mind that if you lose the bridge, you lose the bridge, and it's not a light thing to lose, because frankly this is the best way to get away, and it's a great way to get supply in there. So yeah, bear that in mind. I'm going to get copyright striked here anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the music up because it's great. It feels like playing Dark Zone. We just have back-to-back bangers. So we do have forces down here, so this is a platoon of local forces in charge of defending a village very weak. Yep, so there's a popular force platoon over here. In the city proper then, we do obviously have Vietnamese forces, so First Ordnance Company. And the game is still actively being worked upon, so don't worry, things are probably subject to change. And we do also have some bunker busters, and I do like the art. The art's pretty fantastic. So you can see here, teams with the M72 Laws. They're going to come in handy. We also do have military installations here, so obviously this is, yeah, essentially like some sort of base or outpost, and in times of crisis can be fortified pretty easily. So, we do also have a great number of forces over here, predominantly Vietnamese. So we have here administrative staff, cooks, secretaries, etc. of the 1st Division for defensive missions. So essentially everybody's had to take up arms here. We also do have some US military advisors and the command military installations, barbed wire, bunkers, and second line forces. Here you go. So units attached to patrol the rear. Let me just turn that down a tad. Honestly, some of the music is just fantastic. I can't wait for the fact of eventually there may be a game covering the Chinese Civil Wars, and I'm looking forward to that. Or at least the War of Resistance, and I'm looking forward to that because the music's gonna be absolutely fucking banging. I mean, if I can get a game where it's got like Red Sun in the Sky, I can just play that 24/7 and it'd be amazing. Love that song. I used to write my dissertation with that song played in the background because it was so inspirational. Right, so we do have some forces in the Imperial capital over here, the Imperial Palace itself in the centre. We need to hold on to these, obviously being a victory location here. And it's great defensive terrain, plus it's a brilliant view. But there's a significant amount of Communist and Viet Cong forces in the city. These units over here, these counters, essentially represent infiltrated Viet Cong forces. They're really nasty, and they can act as guides of forces as well to make them more effective. But we have a couple of things that we need to try and do right now. The base over here barely held out. There's no forces over there, but if they do launch an assault, the base will fall. So, we need to essentially activate what forces we have and really try to choose our battles. At least in this first turn, because we've been dealt a terrible, terrible hand of orders. As we do have a decent force over here. We could try to make it towards the primary school over here, or try to move towards where we have the headquarters over here at Sudoan. I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce these. Yeah, we need to try and just reinforce strength where we can do so. So I think I will activate them here. So we do have a couple of forces over here, but we're going to have them moved out where we can shortly enough. We'll activate a couple of other units. I'd love to reinforce this position here in the Imperial Palace. And I do have a couple of forces. I may go ahead and do that. Let's take a look. So, I can't activate the US forces right now. I don't believe it's a Tet Offensive. It's just the Battle of Hue itself. But it does make mention of the Tet Offensive as being later. I'm not too good at the chronology of the Vietnam War, as you can say. Okay. But if you are aware of this, then it's going to be really quite interesting. So we do have police over here. I may activate the police and get them into position. But activating the Black Panthers may be a good idea. I think I may go ahead and do that, because they're bloody good units. They're also something I can actually use as a reaction force. Alright. Okay, so these guys are unsupplied right now, but we'll go ahead and actually get them into supply shortly enough. Okay, so into land movement then. So, this is villages essentially around this area here then. So you can see here rice paddies, hedgerows, that sort of thing. We do have villages. The communists are right now actually in cemeteries. I'm going to have to take a look at the Google Maps of Hue actually to see what the city looks like now. And try and visualize what it might have looked like then. I imagine it's probably images back then actually, so that'd be quite interesting. So yeah, we're in a difficult situation. We do have popular front forces over here and to the north as well. It's an interesting battle in the fact that it's not even... Like, if I take a look at this over here with political affiliation, you can see, for example, that we do have the communists moving in from the west over here. They do have a number of bases over here, as do we. From this side as well as from the south, and they will be coming from the west too. So this is a very confused battle. We do have forces to the north and to the south, east and west as well as the off-map boxes over here too. So it's an interesting one, trying to really organize it and keep everybody fighting to the most effective. But yeah, Tam Tai got hit hard. We do have the air bases in South Vietnam, so eventually we'll be able to call upon some air power, but not right now. At the engineer camp over here, we do have some Vietnamese forces and some entrenchments. Not a very strong force right now. So in terms of what we'd actually be looking towards relying upon, we can see that we have a road south of PK-17. By the way, taking these off maps do matter, because this is one of the ways to like shut down the supply for the communists in the area. It's cutting the roads off. So we actually, yes, this has only just simply been added. This is a relatively new addition to the game. I do again have to stress the game is in active development and I'm playing early because unfortunately I wasn't able to play Small Wars Mohicans, so here we are. So yes, this game is still under active development, so bear that in mind. And we do have a great number of forces over here then to the north at Camp Evans. And we also do have the air mobile, which look pretty freaking cool. Well, yes. So again, yeah, just to really, really drive home the statement here. things are subject to change. I'm going to go ahead and dig those guys in there, because that's going to help them if they come to attack. Same for over here as well, just dig in if we can. Air cavs, so cool. But if we take a look then, I'm going to have these forces moved into the Imperial City then. We do have the road over here, I do believe, so let's take a look then. Right, we do have to cross a river. This unit can't move right now, so I'll go ahead and have them dig in. They're going to be sticking it out here for a while in the rural areas. So this unit can move. We do have the points to move there, but I need to get to the road. Right, so our mobility is a little bit limited then. So it looks like I'm going to have to make my way up this way, and then we'll try to make it into the city. There is a bridge into the city here, but yes, would be really trying to look at roads, but I'd have to cross into the city to make use of the roads over here. And there's frankly a lot of communist forces out this way, so we're going to go ahead and make our way towards the command post, but we're going to do it from a different position. It is interesting with the Imperial City here. The fact that it's dug out, well, constructed in such a way, features so much water. There's a lot of defensive elements here that really are relevant now. Okay. I'm going to dig in all of the units I'm not actually actively using right now, because they are still useful and I will need them in the long run. In terms of supply and how the game actually works, so we do have supply sources which I'll show off shortly, but as I can see one of these supply counters over here, I'm going to talk about that too. So yes, because there are supply sources, you can supply move up to 5 regions, which is basically that's the region, that's the region, that's the region. These supply units, and we will have some ourselves too. Basically, the supporters for the communists, they extend the supply line by 2 regions, and you can basically have them in an actual supply line, and you can keep that supply moving to the front, even if you don't have the range without it. Very useful mechanic. So I'm going to dig these forces in on the exterior, on the outskirts of the city, I should say. Okay. Especially this position here is pretty important inside the city. I did want to get in here. I'm going to have them camouflaged so they may be able to get an ambush on them. That'd be very useful. It might give them an advantage, and who knows, maybe the communists might even avoid attacking the actual centre of the palace itself, but we'll see about that. This is an important position as well on the outskirts, especially because it is actually shielding the bridge over here. But it looks like we do have some Viet Cong infiltrators out this way too, but we'll deal with that when we can. Again, the game is being worked on actively, so what you're seeing here is not the final representation, so bear that in mind. Right, so we do have our Black Panthers active. I'm just making sure everybody is dug in here and ready for any eventualities. Having the sails is pretty cool. Okay. Yes, you can fortify bridges, why can't you? You can even fortify the LCUs, because why can't you? You could just imagine that, it's just like security around them. Obviously they're trying to stay alive, aren't they? Trying to keep things open, so they're not going to do things willy-nilly. Alright, we're almost there. Okay, I'm satisfied with that for the most part. But I'll dig in some barbed wire then, why not? So in terms of what we have available, I did say I wanted to get these forces into the palace. I can't make it all the way, but I can get to this part of the palace, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to make it a thing to try and hold on to the palace here. Hey, doing that, Christian? Good to have you. Yeah, that's it exactly, Christian. That is exactly it. They probably are. I think a good number of them are based on board games. This one may very well be based on a board game, and I think it actually does tell you somewhere what it's based upon. But yeah, I mean, this is why board games are great, because they just give you something that you can't always get. And again, this is why I like the SGS series and other Avalon digital titles, is the fact that it gets you something that you don't typically get. So it's quite fun. So I'm aware that the order of the games are a little bit quiet. I can up that if people would like, but I'll leave it for now. So we do have the Black Panthers that are activated over here, so we've got to take a look at what we're dealing with here then. So, the communists did make a big move on Tamtai. They're likely to do that again, or potentially just to move into the city itself, but right now they're not actually on the map to the south, they're off map. We do see communist forces over here to the north with some pretty good strength, and that's difficult because I do want to hold down the LCU area. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to have the Black Panthers move to the north here. I'm going to have them reinforce this position here where the bunker is. The reason is I want to keep that. as you can imagine. And again, here we have the absolutely amazing music. I didn't mean to dig you in. I want to dig you in. Alright, we'll go ahead and dig in over there. Okay. And again, I don't have much to reinforce this. I'm taking a bit of a risk here, actually, but they are fairly strong units. But I do want to hold down this area, and I especially do want to protect the LCU ramp here. So in terms of what else we had activated, I don't really have all that much. Really not all that much. They're going to remain as they are for now. I could actually move them towards the US forces in fairness. But it depends. We do have garrisons in these buildings, which is really handy. And I quite like that. I do like the fact that you do have that. So we do have the US consulates over here, where we do have some Marine Guards actually in play. We have a power plant over here too. You can imagine if it was possible for this to be taken into account, like, oh, if we lose a power plant, obviously we're going to struggle for power, but yeah. Maybe that's a little bit too granular. But it would be interesting. We also do have the police over here too. So we have a Civil Guard headquarters, and it's a difficult thing because there's not, I don't think there's a natural advantage for this. Let's see, what's the region actually worth? This is worth about 2 victory points. This one, obviously important here. They are worth a certain amount of victory points. Provincial office. So, I think what I'm going to go ahead and do then is reinforce the power plant, I think. I can't quite make it there, so we'll reinforce the US consulate. Trying to control these bridges is quite important here. I can try and prevent the communists from moving in, at least in some numbers. So we've moved more or less everything that we had here. I would say so. We've dug everybody else in. I think we do have some force over here that's able to move. No, it's just these forces, but they're locked in here anyway. Yeah, so we've moved what we can here. This is what I'm talking about, like, we had a really, really rubbish hand there. So we're going to the next phase, and we're going to turn end here. So we'll see how the communists react to this. They're going to have a lot of fun. They're going to have a lot of fun. So we did lose this unit here, which was a big old shame there. Yeah, you can see our orders just really sucked. Again, this will be changed. So we have secret NVA road south of... Yep, there we go. That's subject to change as the game is under further development. Okay, yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, the communists, they get a free orders card. And they're going to use it. The communists do get more activations on average during the first turn. Or turns, I should say. But the game is variable, so every time you play will be different. Yeah, so they're going for Tamtai again. I can't say I blame them. Taking out the cavalry camp is pretty important. You can see that's the supply source there, and that's shown by the barrels, for instance. And losing it is actually going to suck, frankly. It's going to make my situation a little bit more precarious in itself, especially because I was kind of like looking forward to bringing in those armoured reinforcements. But that ain't going to happen. You can see they're moving into the south here now. You can see them moving around here. Yeah, they're taking up positions outside the city itself. Moving towards the LCU ramp, which I am going to have to reinforce if we're going to hold this, because right now that's the only way that I'm really getting supply into that area. Whoops. So you can see here, yeah, not as heavy of an offensive, but frankly they don't really need all that much to win this. The installations will inflict losses, but I think the communists will still take it. Yeah, they will. And that is the fall of Tamtai, which is going to hurt. So we do have the police engaging with some supply porters over here, which is good. That's a good thing for us. If we take those out, that's pretty good. So this is Way City area. I didn't quite get to see where this battle is actually taking place. I know it's in the city area. So we have reconnaissance, and they're looking pretty beefy here right now. We don't have a huge amount of strength here. Obviously the game has like great music. We need to retreat here, frankly, but yeah. We'll have it handed to us. Okay. Looks like they're deploying Baines out here too. So the situation is developing and it's not doing too great. The communists did take some casualties over here. Luckily we did take out these guys here. Yeah, destroyed by lack of supply. Yep, that's great. They played a couple orders here. Right, there, oh wow, we actually got a good card. Yes, we've got some good cards here. Nice. You can also see that we have cards for US forces and Vietnamese forces. So that's going to be rather interesting. So we'll move into the next phase. We do have some reinforcements that have arrived over here. So yes, we have some Vietnamese forces that have mobilized into the area. We also do have a riverine vessel here. So if we take a look, yeah, we do have a combat boat. So river patrol with 2 PBRs, relatively well armed and fast boats to protect the LCU access ramp, which we're really going to need. I really need to hold this down. So we have a lot of conflicting priorities right now. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and order Vietnamese forces. It says that, but I think I can unlock other units, or maybe just unlocks the Vietnamese forces in there. Again, the game is still subject to change, so that might be something that might not be intended. So we'll see. So yeah, we do have a lot of communists down here, which is really not good. There's a lot of them. I can rally the advisors over here. I'm going to stick to the nature of the card. Let's see. Oh, with at least 1 South Vietnamese unit can move. Okay, so that's cool then. So it's working as intended. So we'll have the advisors activated, and that'll be that. Let's see. Select a stack, move. Okay. So, we do have the engineers out here. The problem is, if I lose this camp, that's going to make my life even harder. But the communists are throwing around a large amount of units here. And the problem is, I can find myself in a very difficult situation supply-wise. This is kind of like where my supply is coming from right now. So this isn't exactly an ideal situation. Losing this camp is a pretty big deal. So I do kind of want to activate them, but I also kind of want to hold on to the camp. So I'm going to try and hold on to that as much as I can. And we'll see what we can activate. We do have a number of Vietnamese forces around. I may activate these forces considering there's not a whole lot of them. But I think the headquarters over here, there's quite a few forces. We could try to push out the perimeter and buy ourselves some space there, which may be a worthwhile idea. Okay. So these cards are great, but they're for US Marines, and I don't have Marines right now. So that's a bit of a shame. I do have the sailors over here that I can activate. I may need to bring these forces in. I am going to try and avoid it, frankly. But this is not placing me in a great position right now. I'm not sure where I can get the reinforcements from. I don't want to lose this position, but it's also pretty precarious right now. So, I'm considering whether to abandon Taylok. It's a supply source as well, which is a pretty major deal. I really need to hold on to that if I can. Forces on the outskirts can put pressure on the communists, but I don't have huge strength out there. Taking out a supply would be quite good. Make their life a little bit harder here. I think I'm going to have to activate the engineers here. So we have air movement. Do I have anything I can move right now? I do have some helicopters actually of the air cav. Right. So elements from scout platoon, weapon platoon, heavy gunships, and aero rifle platoons. Okay. So these guys are quite interesting. This is the first time I've used them actually. So they have some pretty phenomenal ground stats there. Free. So they do have a fairly hefty stack in value there too. Okay. Sections of aerial battery replaces artillery, but relatively ineffective according to the communist accounts. Interesting. So we have aerial rockets, aerial rocket artillery. We have the platoons over here then, so composite platoon. Okay. I think the air stack in is a bit of an issue. So if I take a look at air stacking, looking at about 5 there. Do I have somewhere that I can actually land them in any number greater than 2? Not particularly. Okay, so we'll move them in. This will be the first time I've used this unit actually. Oh, is it actually activated right now? Oh, I don't think I can move it. I can't separate them, so I can't move them right now. Yeah, so I don't think we have them actually available as this moment in time there. That's a shame. There looks to be no air support. We also do have naval artillery fire from the 7th Fleet there. Okay, that looks like all she wrote there for air power, aka any support of that nature. So we're back to the land. So we do have this force activated over here, which is pretty great. It's a difficult thing here because I do need to hold the bridges. I do need to try and prevent them linking up and making that more viable for them. Where do I want to dig in here? I'm going to try and hold the power plant if I can. But I may just actually go into the garrison here, the power plant. It's a difficult thing to say. In fact, maybe I'm better off just moving this unit elsewhere because... maybe back over here because we do actually have a supply source. So that's probably a good idea. Okay, so we do have these forces here. They can't move too far. But I will try to make my way towards the city, I think. So move over this way. Okay. So there's not a huge amount of communist forces out here in this part of the city right now. So we do have the actual administrative staff, so these are not particularly the best troops in the world. But I think I will try and move some of them here. The reason being, I want to try and establish a bit of a perimeter. What do we have here in terms of... so we have dense urban terrain. This is urban terrain, so this is actually superior for us then. So modifier attack -5, yeah. So this is actually better terrain for us to fight in then. Right. Okay, so if I can try and secure this dense urban, that's going to be at least if I can work with. Now that is urban. The enemy can come at us from these positions over here then. So I've got to bear that in mind. So we have over here then, small tangled dwellings. These are just as good as well. So I need to hold the approaches. So this position here and this position here. I could hold in this position, but I'd rather be proactive. Do I like the movement points? It looks like I do. I could move these fellows, or not. Wow, it's expensive to move across a large river. Okay. I could move over to this side though, at least. The advisors maybe. No, the advisors can move over this way then. Okay, so move our forces out this way then to the other side of the river. If I could reinforce them, I would. I really wanted to reinforce this position here, but I guess we'll have to make do for now. Maybe I do just push on forward. Try and secure it with the advisors just for now. There's not really many communist forces in this area right now, so we may have an opportunity. This position needs reinforcing pretty badly. So let's see, I do have a police over here. They can't quite make it there. So we face a pretty difficult situation. I've got 6 movement. What do the police have? They've got 5. These 6, for instance, how far? 6 can't quite move it. Right, so they need to hold on. There's not really a spot on this way right now. She's not easy. I love the music though. Right, so they're dug in. So, let's see, what do we have here? Dense urban. And dense urban here, okay. So we'll have them continue to hold their position here with the Australians. We'll have the US forces move over to this position here. Reinforce the police in this position, try and hold that. And then I'll try and engage them if they're in the open. Like, over here we have the rice paddies. So that'd be the best train for us to at least engage them. But we'll try and be proactive where we can. But frankly, we don't have a huge amount. Let's see here. Okay. So reconnaissance has revealed... Okay, so that is a lot. That is a whole lot of enemies there. So we're going to dig in here. Maybe they engage us, maybe they don't, but that's a lot of potentially angry Viet Cong and communist forces, and we don't have a lot of reinforcements to send them. So we're in a bit of a difficult bind here. To say the absolute least, we're in a bit of bind. So we'll go in there. Right, so this is the PBR fire. So machine gun fire from the banks of the river here. So yes, that is something that we can at least use to try and weaken the enemy. Let's see. Looks like I can't use it right now. I think you have to have them targeting the special counters of the enemy. But anyhow, move to the next phase. Okay, so we do have replacements here. We do have 50 replacements right now. And we do have a number of forces out this way, and I need to choose who's going to get these reinforcements, which is going to be difficult. We do have these forces out here too. PK-17 as well. Right, so you have to make a choice here, really. Do you want to reinforce the men in the actual city itself? Or do you want to try and concentrate on the forces outside to a degree? Or do you want to do both? I'm going to probably go for the forces, at least in this position here, considering it looks like they're going to be engaged in battle right now. And I would like to win this. That's pretty expensive. But I need them. I'm going to try and bring these guys up to strength if I can. I love the music though. I really do. Okay, so we'll give them another one there too. So yeah, we've got 50 replacements into this spot. So it's a pretty hefty investment, and I'm hoping that it actually does help out. They are entrenched. They're in urban and hedgerows, so they do have a pretty good, strong modifier there. They also do have the bunkers helping them out, so I'm hoping that will help. But I need to hold a bridge. So we'll go with that, see how the communists react to us here. So we had just the 3 cards there. We've not had a great deal of luck with like activations, I'm going to say. But what can you do, eh? Okay, music's quiet. Some of the tracks are loud, but I can go ahead and turn it up about now, actually. Like, some of them are, but hey. Like, this one in particular is a louder one. Yeah. Hey, Grim, good to have you, my man. Oh, so this is a mechanic as well, which is introduced in Way, which is the civilian/hostages. Well, we had tanks, but they took out our tanks, so that's a shame. Ooh, that's not good. Oof. Okay, so we had the engineers move out here. I'm hoping that they've got the drop on them, but this is not looking particularly ideal. They have seized Tam Tai, the cavalry camp, which is not exactly ideal. That's where we did have our armour. You can see that they have moved across the bridge over here. We do have our forces entrenched. They're moving up here, and wow, they're really moving up. They're looking to just surround the city, it seems, right now. Which is a completely valid tactic. They're pushing onto the base over here too. Right, okay, yeah, it looks like it was worthwhile in terms of the investment here of forces. I don't think these forces would have been able to take out a small bunker, but I'm definitely sure that they won't now. Alright, so we have some snipers over here which are going to cause problems. And we have here just a small unit then. Okay. Yeah, they're taking huge penalties here, crossing the straight, entrenched position, terrain attack. Okay, so we should be able to smack them around. You can see that we have here, yeah, this holding the bridges is really important. Especially if you're on the other side. Yeah, they just completely smash them. Not even a problem. So the communists retreat from this battle over here, which is great. And this is really interesting because these guys have the strength, but there's 4 of these guys. So they panic. Okay, not ideal. I really needed that unit. I was really hoping it might have been able to clutch it, but apparently not. Okay, so bringing in communist, communist fire. They're bringing in bombardment there. That's not ideal. Okay, they failed the siege of the primary school over here. It's great having the pictures here because it does help you to visualize things and what's going on in the city. So we have the air defense move here. Okay. Yeah, they do have artillery. We're not really allowed artillery right now. Maybe in the future we will be, we'll see. So casualties actually not looking great for the communists. Maybe that was on that bank there. It looks like they just didn't have a supply there. Yeah, so we have the civilians involved in the battle now. Okay, a few more orders cards. How many marines do I have? I'll drop that one. Oh, definitely drop that one. I don't need the marines cards. I'll hold on to one for the future. Okay, moving to the next phase. Yeah, so again, game still in development, so bear in mind. But we do have the refugees over here, / civilians. So civilians caught in the fighting. One of the missions of the South Vietnamese and American forces is to shelter and protect them. So if we lose them, we lose VP. So that's the thing there. The communists can actually use them as basically human shields, which is not exactly ideal. It does mention that the communists did get a lot of flack. Well, they were heavily criticized afterwards for their actions in regards to civilians, apparently. So, right, we do have a lot going on here. So lots of refugees in the battle. We do have some proper reinforcements over here now. Yeah, it looks like the combat troops are getting ready here. So infantry company, average quality, but better units for the 1st South Vietnamese Division. Okay, so forces are mobilized in here. We do have an advanced position here, which I'm looking towards reinforce because it looks like they will cross, and they'd likely come over here and attack then. But this is dense urban terrain, so we want to hold on to that. Okay. Yeah, and we have second line over here too. So that's good. That's an important position for us to have to hold there. So, I'll activate these guys. Activate a number of forces then where I can. I don't know if I want to activate these forces, but I really would love to get some reinforcements in there. There's like so many of them here. I'm wondering if I can press the issue, but I'm going to let them attack me if I can. I'm thinking about maybe siege in this position here, because I don't know what it's serving me for right now. I'm not super sure how it works essentially, but I think it may be if the communists move into a region that has the civilians, they kind of get control of them. I'm not sure. It does specify in the rules that they're like use like human shields, but I've not actually seen it myself yet, so we'll see. These guys have moved out of here. I don't really have that many orders once again. Right, so the communists are moving around here. I would like to maybe move towards the power plant to try and take care of them if I can. Especially as the civilians, and we need to look after them. I really don't have a lot of orders to play with. And that is making things pretty difficult. I'm thinking about maybe moving the sailors over here if I can get them there, but I'm not sure if I can. We're not looking at a huge amount of availability of force here. No, sir. You've got free movement, you've got 0 movement right now because you're unlocked, but I'm not sure how much movement you would have if I was to unlock you. In theory, it should be okay, but I'm not sure. Maybe I do. I'm going to go ahead and activate them and force the issue then, it seems. Ooh, they're taking supply losses. So I'm not getting supply over here then. Do I have to make sure this is under my control? Yeah, we'll double check that anyhow. Oh, they're still alive, which is good. Right, we've got air movement. They're locked. Not seeing anything there. No, I'm not seeing any spot for us right now. Okay, so we have control over some of the civilians here, which is difficult because where do I have them go? And right now the LCU ramp is not actually defended, which is really, really bad. Not good. I'll have them move, let's see, it's got the MACV compound. I might have them move to the Joan of Arc High School. Yeah, just move to this area. Yeah, move to safety if you can. So can we engage the enemy here? See, because that reconnaissance has failed, I can't engage them right now, which is a problem. What I'm thinking about doing here then is, let's see, maybe I can just take one of these infantry companies here, because I need supply. We need a supply. I can't engage them right now. It's a problem. Shit. Right. Move to the museum. Yeah, things are getting a bit dicey in the center here. Okay, at least these guys could be safe. Well, they could just stay here. Right, so we've got the second line here. We've got the refugee housing area, which obviously is pretty dense and could be locked down fairly well, but we'll see about that. These guys are locked right now. They have some movement. We've got some actual movement over here. Okay. I've got to be really quite selective about what I do here, because I can't engage one thing too strongly. But I think what I'm going to go ahead and do here then is... Let's see, what can I get over there? Oops, now it's going wild here. How should I need to get across there? 4. Do I have somebody in here that can't do it? Right, yeah, the second line. Right, okay. Can they move up? No, not right now. Move a second line into reinforce. It's not a lot, but I want to hold on to that position if I can. They're doomed, at least if it seems so. I could try and move towards the palace, but it's not easy. This being locked down right now is really difficult because I need supply. Seems to be this area here. I think it's something to do with the actual communists themselves. But there's not much I can do about that right now. So it's in theory green, it seems to be this area, so I think it might be due to the communists perhaps. Which is nasty, because I can't really do all that much about that. At least I did reinforce them, so it's one of those of where if I hadn't, I might have actually lost some units. But boy, this is difficult to try and figure out where to have people move to, because we don't really have a lot of great control here. They can go ahead and do this too, so yeah, 5 on Riverbank, machine guns, etc. So they move towards the LCUs there. Right, I need to get them across the river if I can. Head south. Okay. So I can move here, but can I get somebody into the actual LCU? I may, let's see. I'm not sure if I can have them brought in here, then they ferry them over. I think that's probably how it works. Oops, didn't mean to move them like so. Oh well, I'll spread them out a little bit. Okay. Yeah, rid of the nukes. Have them head out that way. We'll head over this way. Yeah, failed reconnaissance there. I'm going to actually send a few more reinforcements there. I feel like that's going to need it. Maybe that second line if I can get them there. Sadly not. I'd be tempted to move the police there, to be honest. I was trying to hold this area down, try and have something of a line. Yeah, we're not in a great old position here. At least these guys held on, which is very good. So we'll see how we get on. We'll go this as the final turn, as I'm going to go ahead and get something to nom nom then afterwards. I don't think I have any air power, so yeah. Alright, replacements. Frankly, we have a decent amount. Where are these guys? They're over there. I need to get them up to strength. Some of these are really expensive, especially live support units. A little bit too expensive, but what I can do is grab one of those, get you, and then we haven't got anything else left there, but that's okay. I'll just run into these guys here. Well, actually, maybe, no. These guys, if they're starving, there's like I think I saw the one where they have, oh no, I must have been thinking of something else. Anyway, doesn't matter. So yeah, we'll see how this goes for this turn. I'm going to say this is really not a great start for us because we just have not been able to issue many orders. So the communists are actually doing pretty well. Especially considering like taking the base at Tamdai. That's a big card. Yeah, they came throwing out the bombardments here where they're hitting, so they're hitting this position here then. And over here, the civilians. God damn it. Yeah, how you doing there, Sarge? We're bringing this one to an end relatively soon, as I'm going to go ahead and get some thing to eat. But yeah, sadly, the Small Wars Mohicans had an issue with that, but hope we can get that solved. I will, of course, post a link so you guys can go ahead and check that out. Thanks for reminding me there. Yeah. You know, it's there at the right time. Okay, the communist pushing over here. I feel like I'm going to lose these civilians, which is not exactly great. We know that we can hold this side of the river, but it's not going to be easy. Need men. Okay, they're actually pushing across here. See, that's a problem as well. I don't hold that and they're going for them. So, yeah, they're trying to get those victory points here. But engaging again, we do have infiltrators here. It's just difficult because I just don't have enough here to manage everything. Okay. So this is the unit I was talking about earlier on. So these are infiltrators, yep. So National Liberation Front for South Vietnam in Viet Cong. Yeah, that's going to cost us victory points. This is definitely overkill. The police may have a chance. Yeah, they do protect them. Barely. So you can see they've actually moved across over here. So we have an ambush. Yep, so they moved across the river. These guys are about to get screwed over. The reason why they're over here is because they won the last battle, so they could overrun. Break free, I should say. So now they're over here, but they're about to get screwed up. Yeah, like we have 9 morale versus they're free. These guys, yeah, they've crossed over into a pretty nasty position. Still doing damage to the bunker, though. Still doing a lot of damage to the bunker. Okay, this is why I've reinforced the position. The infantry do a great old job, though. These are the Black Panthers, if I remember. So, yeah, they're pretty good troops. Yeah, we do have something there. Maybe I should have committed differently. We'll see. Okay, we do manage to hold there. That was pretty lucky. Yeah, that was pretty lucky. I didn't think we'd actually have that. Eventually, we will start getting air cavalry activated, and we will be able to bring them in. But over here at the moment in time, chilling. Okay. Ooh, 4 orders is really powerful. I'll draw the Marines card because I'm not using the Marines right now. So this is where we are going to hold for today. But I'll go ahead and just take a look at what we have going on here then. So if we take a look at the political, you can see generally where the communists are. And you can see that they've been moving throughout the city here, and notice that they've just been moving around the city there just to like lock it down from supply, which is really nasty, which is why having some supply in the center is really important, which is why I'm holding on to that base. This is also very important as well as we gain supply from it. So frankly, we've lost the LCU ramp at this side, which is not exactly great. I will have to see if I can move men across there, but I think I've got to have a move across like so. Maybe I could have moved the Black Panthers over here, but these guys were quite important. They have been holding off this section and protecting us in the north there. We did manage to actually drive back the communists over here, which is really, really good. Like, these guys, very nice, yeah. So, firepower and accuracy, roll again if shot fails, resilient cancels 1 hit. Yeah, so they're good. These are good troops. They can kind of like hold their own to a degree, which is nice. We need that. But there we are, guys. Thank you for watching. I will post a link here to Small Wars Mohicans, and my voice apparently is going right now. Do go ahead and actually check out the project. It's very close to the edge, and there's some days to go. I would recommend it, so please, if you have the opportunity, do go ahead and consider backing. So again, yes, try it. I will shut the game off when it is working properly. Again, I was using a very early developers build. Same for SGS, Battlefield Way, so bear that in mind. Both games are not representative of their final forms,